Alright, 8th graders, we are still working on the substitution method. We're kind of adding a little bit more complexity each day. So remember, the substitution method when checking for solving systems of equations is a method of solving them by substituting equations within one another. So remember, make sure you have these notes. Step 1, solve one equation for x or y. Step 2, substitute this expression into the other equation and solve for the variable. And step 3, substitute your answer into the revised equation from step 1 to solve for the other variable. So hopefully you have notes on the last couple days, because today we are going to add a bit of complexity to that, okay? We may have to rearrange, we may not. So here I have x equals 4y plus 7 and 2x minus 6y equals 12. So we already have this set up as x or y equals something, so we can go ahead and substitute that into our other equation for what x equals. So I'm going to write 2, and then I'm going to open my parentheses and stick in what x equals here. And then I'm going to continue on with the rest of my equation as is. We want to know when these two lines meet, so that is how we're going to do that. I have to distribute. 2 times 4y is 8y. 2 times 7 is 14. And then I'm just writing the rest down. Now I have to combine like terms. So I have 8 minus 6. Now I have 2y plus 14 equals 12. And then I'm subtracting 14. So I have 2y equals negative 2. Dividing by 2, dividing by 2. Y equals negative 1. Now, remember, y equals negative 1. That's our second number in our ordered pair. So we're going to go ahead and go back to that original equation that we had from step 1 that we put into the other one and plug in. So we want to know what x equals when y equals negative 1. Do you see I'm just copying this equation down but putting in negative 1 for y? 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 plus 7, so 3. X equals 3 when y equals negative 1, so I would write it as xy, 3 negative 1. Okay? Now, you'll have to go back and forth in determining whether you need to put what you have in for x or what you have in for y. So, for instance, this next one, when you have something set to y equals, you're going to put that in for y in the next equation. Alright, you know how to do this just like we did yesterday, so go ahead and make sure you're pausing your video to complete this. So I'm saying 3x plus 3, open parenthesis, this is what I'm putting my y equals into, equals 6. I have to distribute that 3 through. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. Now we have 6x plus 6 equals 6. Subtracting 6, that gives us 6x equals 0. So anything 0 divided by anything, I should say, equals 0. So now we want to know when x equals 0, what does y equal? Well, y equals 0 plus 2, so y equals 2 when x equals 0. Okay? So now remember, you're paying close attention to where you are putting in your thing. So if I have x equals 3y, I'm going to substitute this in for x, not for y, right? 2x plus 4y equals 10. So this is what I'm putting into x now. So 2 times 3y plus 4y equals 10. Go ahead and solve that. Make sure you're trying these on your own, right? Practicing is what is helpful, not just watching the video like you would sit back and watch a movie. 6 plus 4 is 10y divided by 10. So again, we're careful because this is what y equals. We don't know what x equals yet until we put this y back in, because we want to know what x equals when y equals 1. Well, looks like x equals 3 when y equals 1. Okay? Now sometimes they'll be written. This might throw you off when you see something like this. Sometimes they'll be written 3x minus 7y equals 41, with setting them on the bottom. 2y equals negative 21. You can still do this, right? You're just using this as your step 1 equation and putting it into here. So I would say 3, open my parentheses, negative 2y, what was that? No wonder, that would be confusing, minus 21. I'm not sure why I put another equal sign in there. I was going too fast. And then I'm putting in the rest of that, negative 7y equals 41. So I would have to distribute. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and don't forget that y. 3 times negative 21 is negative 63. And then I'm writing down the rest of my equation. Now I'm combining like terms. I have a negative 6 and a negative 7. So combined they are negative 13y minus 63 equals 41. Now if I add 63 to both sides, I have negative 13y equals 104. So when is 3 have a multiple 4? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So 13 times 8, 8 times 3 is 24 like we just said, and then 8 times 1 is 8 plus 2 is 10. So when I divide both sides by negative 13, I have y equals, and we just said 104 divided by 13 was 8. We're asking how many times can 13 go into 104, and that's 8 times, but it's negative because our signs are different. And remember, that doesn't give us x like we were used to getting before. It gives us y. So now we're plugging back in. We want to know what x equals when y equals negative 8. So I'm writing it back into that equation here. So I'm putting negative 8 into that step 1 equation. So negative 2 times negative 8 is 16. 16 minus 21. Oh, this should be positive 16, huh? So negative 5, because 21 minus 16 is 5, but our bigger number was negative. So negative 5 here for your x value. All right, be careful. Pay attention to whether you're putting it in for x or in for y, and then be careful as you're listing your pairs that you are listing them as x, y. Sometimes you'll get y first, sometimes you'll get x first, and then going back into the other equation to find out what the other equals when it equals that. Huh, a little bit crazy town. All right, have a fantastic, fantastic day.